Hello, my friend. So this video is about if you have oily skin, that you're basically screwed. Oily skin is hereditary. We're gonna talk about different ingredients that can help you to minimize your oily skin that you were born with and help you to keep it under control so your skin isn't as oily. Some things that combat that. We're gonna talk about ingredients that are great for your skin, also ingredients that could be causing more harm than good, and practices that could be causing more harm than good. So if you're interested in learning more about that, hang tight. We're getting into it right now. So like I mentioned, oily skin can't be cured, but it can be minimized through using certain products. Now, I knew I wanted to make this video. I already did one for dry skin. I already did one for aging skin. I knew I wanted to do one for oily skin. So when TEAMI Blends contacted me and asked me if I wanted to do a sponsored video, I was like, a little skeptical at first, but then I remembered that when I've done my 21 days of beauty videos for Ulta over the past 2 seasons, this past fall and this past spring, TEAMI Blends had something called a detox mask. It's the green tea blend detox mask. And I had talked about that for those past 2 seasons and how amazing it looked for oily skin. The first one is by TEAMI Blends, but I looked at the ingredients and they actually look really legit. I was surprised. There's kaolin that's gonna suck up impurities out of your skin. There's green tea, there's sweet almond oil, there's aloe leaf juice. There's a lot of really good ingredients in this. So this may be a yes. I was quite surprised. The next one they're promoting is one from TEAMI Blends. And if you've ever heard of TEAMI, you've probably heard of their teas. So they do have a skincare line, and their skincare line actually looks really good. And we talked about some of these last year and I was like, whoa, TEAMI's doing something good with their skincare. Like, what is even happening? This was a huge shock for me. So the main ingredients in here are bentonite clay and kaolin clay. So those are gonna be your oil absorbers. This is gonna be for people with oily skin. If you don't have, so I was like, well, if they're gonna, I was gonna plan on doing the video anyway, and they make a product that's great for people with oily skin, I can combine those and do my sponsor video that way. So this is the TEAMI Detox Green Tea Blend, and we're gonna talk about the ingredients in this and why it might be good. We're gonna go into a little more detail about these in a little while. So the way that you apply this is you splash your face with a little bit of water and then you apply it. You leave it on for about 15 minutes or so. It allows the product to dry onto your face and then you rinse it off. The reason why this is such a good product for oily skin is because it has some great ingredients right at the top. We have water, and I'm gonna talk to you in a second about why that's really important to have in this formula. And then next up is bentonite clay and kaolin clay. Their job is to absorb the oil from your skin. That's exactly what they do. Next, we have the matcha green tea. That's an anti-inflammatory, an antioxidant, and an antimicrobial, all excellent for both oily skin and acne-prone skin. And then the fourth ingredient is glycerin, which is a humectant that's gonna pull moisture in your skin. You remember how I said the first ingredient was water and how you're supposed to splash your face with water before you use this product? What the glycerin is gonna do is gonna take the water you splash on your face and the water that's already in the product, and it's going to suck it right into your skin and hold it there, which is wonderful. The only ingredient in here that's a little bit something is the lemongrass extract. Now, that is a great anti-inflammatory, a great antioxidant, but it also is a fragrance. So if you are not into fragrance in your skincare, you do definitely want to skip this. But if that's not something of concern for you, this is a fantastic product for oily skin. So I want to thank TEAMI Blends for sponsoring this video. I really appreciate it, and I honestly would not have taken the sponsorship if I did not believe the ingredients in this product would be great for your oily skin. So with that being said, I need to talk to you about a couple of definitions before we get into the best ingredients and worst ingredients for you. So the first one is non-comedogenic. Comedogenic means pore clogging. The problem with non-comedogenic ratings is that the test for comedogenicity, is that a word? I don't know, I might have just made it up. Is that they usually test it on people's backs, and back skin is different than face skin, so you kind of have to take comedogenic ratings with a grain of salt. But if something says that it's non-comedogenic, you can feel a little better about putting it on acne-prone skin. The next terms that I want to talk about is the difference between dry skin and dehydrated skin. It really is as different as oil and water. Dry skin means your skin is lacking oil. Dehydrated skin means your skin is lacking water. A reason why this is really, really important specifically for you if you have oily skin is dehydrated skin sometimes overproduces oil to compensate for the lack of water. So if you properly are hydrating your skin, it may decrease your oil production. Now the problem systematically with this is that most products, like if you look at Sephora's website, Ulta's website, it says dry skin. And sometimes when they say dry skin, they mean dry. And sometimes when they say dry skin, they mean dehydrated. They don't make a distinction in marketing. So it's really important to understand ingredients so you know whether a product is right for you. So I'm gonna break down the ingredients now so you can go into a store and you can look at the back of a box and decide whether this is a good product for you or not. So like we talked about TEAMI blends, the clays that are in a product are really, really great for oily skin. So look out for kaolin clay and bentonite clay specifically. They are oil absorbers. Another one that is great to add into your routine is salicylic acid. When people hear acid, sometimes they kind of freak out a little bit because they think it's going to damage their skin, and it can. It absolutely can. These chemical exfoliators can absolutely damage your skin if they're at too high of a concentration. So you want your salicylic acid to be no more than 2%. 2% is enough. You don't need more than that. Also, you can combine salicylic acid, which is a BHA, with AHAs like glycolic acid. But again, if you've never used chemical exfoliation before, you want to start off low and work your way up and let your skin tell you what it needs rather than marketing and advertising. What it does is it's actually kind of a vacuum cleaner for your pores. It loves oil, so it attracts the oil and it actually sucks it out of your pores without drying your skin out, which is wonderful. It's also an antibacterial and an anti-inflammatory, and it'll help your skin slough off dead skin cells that could trap oil underneath your skin and cause breakouts. Now, this is one that you really need to be careful with, but it can be great specifically for acne-prone skin because oily skin and acne-prone skin tend to go together. Now, it's called benzoyl peroxide. It's usually used in spot treatments for acne, and I strongly recommend you only use it as a spot treatment because there's been multiple studies that say benzoyl peroxide applied all over to the face can cause more harm than good in drying out your skin. It really is just supposed to be used just on specific spots that you feel are too oily or are acne prone. It does kill bacteria, it helps your cell turnover, but really, really important to follow this with an antioxidant serum because it actually can generate free radicals within your skin. So you want to follow it up with something that is high in antioxidants. And green tea, something like green tea is great for antioxidants. I'll put a list of other antioxidants down below that are not in this that you could find in other products as well. Next up are the humectants like we talked about earlier. Hyaluronic acid and glycerin are the most common humectants found in skincare. When you're using humectants, you want to make sure they have water to pull into your skin, so splashing your face with water before you use a product that contains a humectant is a great idea, especially if it doesn't contain water in the ingredient list. And the other thing about humectants that's really, really important is that you need to top it with something called an occlusive. And I will list some occlusives down below. The best occlusives for acne-prone skin and oily skin are marula oil, argan oil, sunflower oil, safflower seed oil, and sweet almond oil because they are listed as non-comedogenic. Because if you don't do that, it will pull water from the lower layers of your skin and your moisture from the lower layers of your skin will evaporate into the air, and you definitely do not want that. The last positive ingredient I wanted to mention to you specifically was squalane. Squalane used to be derived from shark liver. Every product that I've reached out to the company and asked where their squalane comes from, they always say it comes from olives. It is a skin balancing ingredient. So what it does is it mimics your sebum, which is another word for the oil coming out of your skin, and it tells your skin basically there's enough oil on my skin, I don't need it to make any more, and your skin doesn't produce as much oil as it would because it thinks it already has it. Another oil that performs similarly is jojoba oil, so you can look out for that as well. And these are great ingredients to use after your exfoliation process. Now let's go ahead and move into the worst products for people with oily skin. The first one is PETROLATUM. It's much better to use a moisturizer that's full of antioxidants, humectants, things like that, than PETROLATUM that is basically just gonna sit on your skin and clog up your pores. It's just not a good idea. Now this one I've heard some mixed thoughts on different websites and different studies. Olive oil and coconut oil may be ones that you have problems with if you have oily skin, but it's really gonna depend on you as an individual. Some people don't have a problem, some people do, but if you do have oily skin, you might wanna stay away from those oils specifically. One that I always talk about for dry skin that I hadn't really realized the impact on oily skin as much until I did this research is denatured alcohol. So denatured alcohol strips your skin of its water. And when your skin is stripped of water, like we talked about earlier, your skin's gonna be like, oh my gosh, my skin's so dry, I need to do something, I need to produce more oil. So you know those setting sprays that you love so much? Most of them contain denatured alcohol. So if you're having problems with oil peeking through your foundation, try not using one of those setting sprays and see if it helps you to not get as oily throughout the day. The setting spray may be doing more harm than good for you. Another tip is to not overdo physical exfoliation. When you overdo your physical exfoliation, you can actually damage your skin. Your skin kind of freaks out and goes, I need to do something about this, and produces more oil in order to combat the drying effects of the damage that you're causing to your skin. So things like the Clarisonic, you just have to make sure that you're going in gentle. Don't scrub at your face. Don't use very harsh physical exfoliators like the pieces of seeds, like what is it? What's the Kylie one? Walnut seed? Don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. It's not a good idea. Use something very gentle if you're going to physically exfoliate, like jojoba esters. All they are these little squishy pieces of jojoba, but they feel like microbeads that of course have been banned for environmental reasons. Something like jojoba esters is much, much better for oily skin as far as exfoliation because it's so gentle. And then finally, I was reading quite a bit on this and I thought this was interesting because when I did the one for dry skin, we talked about the intake of water helping you with your dry skin, and I was pointed towards some research that actually combats that and says that drinking water does not help with dry skin. So I really dug into this one to make sure it was legit before I presented this, because sometimes sources can conflict, and if I don't find the right ones, then I end up providing information that isn't as accurate as I would like. So this one I really looked into is cutting back on specific foods. Decreasing your salt could definitely help you out a lot because salt dehydrates you, again, pulling moisture out of your skin and may create those dry skin patches that would trap the oil and create more breakouts. Also, decreasing foods in saturated fats could help out a lot. And of course, increasing your fruits and vegetables, especially your vegetables, because sugar can also lead to increased breakouts, but vegetables being lower in sugar would be a better alternative than fruit. But if you're eating more processed foods and you're trading it for an apple rather than something that's full of saturated fats, you're definitely making a better choice there. So in conclusion, I know I said in the beginning of this video that you're screwed if you have oily skin. You're not really. You just gotta do a couple little extra things to make your skin just a little bit better. Looking out for the right ingredients, looking out for the wrong ingredients, and taking really good care of your body as a whole and your skin. At this point, my friends, it is your turn. In the collective brain of makeup awesomeness, also known as the comment section down below. Now, of course, I do not have oily skin, so I am counting on you, my friend with oily skin, to leave your thoughts down in the comments below. What are some of your favorite oily skin girl or guy products that you enjoy? What are some of the ingredients that you have found helpful for your skin to help control your oil? Leave those thoughts down in the comments below, and if somebody helps you, leave them a little comment, thumbs up their comment, tell them that you appreciate them, because little things do go a long way. And while you're thumbsing things up, you can give a thumbs up to this video. It tells YouTube to share it with more people so that it can be seen by more people and help more people. It only takes a second for you. It really helps me out a lot. If you'd like to hang out a little longer, YouTube should be recommending a video for you right down there to watch. But if you've got to go, completely understand. Thanks for hanging out as long as you did. Mad love to you, and I will see you in a video very, very soon.